All right, guys. So this week I posted up this story on Wholesome Gang. It's like a kind of a feel-good like Facebook group or whatever. And it was just a screenshot that somebody kind of gave this brief synopsis. So Judith Love Cohen helped create the abort guidance system, which rescued the Apollo 13 astronauts, and went to work on the day she was in labor. She took a printout of the problem she was working on to the hospital. She called her boss and said she finished the problem, and then gave birth to actor Jack Black on the exact same day.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's what a threshold of greatness on top of greatness.
Yes. And to beat that, her other child, Jack Black's brother, is an engineer and created the BFT, the Blue Force Tracking System, which is like our tactical GPS system that we use in the Army that I used to work on. Like, I used to troubleshoot it and fix it. That was like my MOS.
I still prefer Jack Black over his brother, but I understand the greatness. That's just a great family.
That's a great family. That's unfair.
Jack Black has never saved my ass, though.
Yeah, that's very true.
He's definitely saved my ass before.
Have you ever listened to Tribute and you were just like, dude, he fucking gets it, man.
Yeah, that's
he
true.
Fucking gets it.
That's true.
So he maybe didn't save your ass literally, but emotionally he could have. It's Jack fucking Black, man.
I mean, high fidelity has gotten me out of many a holes. So
I was about to bring it up. That's one of my all-time favorite movies. Like,
oh yeah,
hands down, High Fidelity. Like, oh yeah, actually, any early like '90s John Cusack film, 100% I'm on board every time.
Dude, I'm a serendipity man all the way.
All day. Come on. All right. Well, on that, let's get this thing started.
Now it's the cows. A school of rock. Everybody back and now we're going insane. Yeah, let's get this started.
Okay. And we're back.
What up, what up, what up? Welcome to the BFC'S.
Yeah.
So for a long time, we were pretty deprived of Marvel content, and just deciding to get back into it. We were like, let's go back through and let's see what we loved, see what we hated, and I don't know, let's talk about it with our friends. Yeah. And tonight, we're going to talk about a certain movie, and I'm very excited about it. But Jeff, what's the last movie you saw, and what are you drinking?
The last movie I saw was, Tina will probably come in on the chat and let me know because I have a really bad memory because I have TBI. I don't remember what the last movie I saw was. I've been watching shows lately. I've been watching Loki, which I've been loving so far. I watched the season 5 premiere of Rick and Morty, which was fantastic. Such a good episode.
We won't say anything because we're obviously not going to offer spoilers. But
yeah, no
Jordan, get on that. Get on that.
And right after this.
Great.
Text me later. I'll be awake, I'm sure.
I could do a whole episode talking about actually how genius that episode was, like everybody does. And I've been watching Mystic Quest. I just absolutely love that show. I cannot recommend
it's Mythic Quest.
Mythic Quest. I keep saying Mystic Quest, whatever.
I understand.
Which I figured out. I'm pretty sure that who are the guys who do Skyrim? What's the company?
I'm not the person to ask.
Bethesda?
I think they do all the in-between game shots of... Because they do, like, it between episodes... Because the show is about them making a video game. So in between, as, like, a transition from one scene to another, they'll show a shot from their, made-up game. and I'm pretty sure it's taken from Bethesda games. But then the other day, they definitely showed a part from Horizon Zero Dawn, and they were like,
"Oh, I saw that."
Yeah, as if they were selling it like it's their game, and I'm like, it's a pretty recognizable game. That was definitely.
It's very specifically Horizon Zero Dawn.
Yeah, they showed the main character. Like
I was like, oh, like I know you're on an Apple Plus binge.
I'm loving Apple Plus. I don't know
it's
what it
really
is.
good.
Dude, have you watched Physical?
I started to watch the first episode. I'm definitely going to continue watching it because something. Oh my God, what is her name?
Oh,
Rose Byrne.
Yep.
Rose Byrne. She's a godsend.
Oh my God, she's so good. She's so good in everything she does, and she is such a
really
badass in this show, and I fucking love her.
Yeah,
There's such great range. Really good range.
Yeah. Everything she does is fan-fucking-tastic.
Seriously.
Yeah. She can make you love her, hate her, like she is comedic.
Even she's in Insidious with Patrick Wilson, right?
Yeah.
I mean, come on, like horror too. She's all over. She's great.
So we'll have a sidebar on just discussing Physical between ourselves because I am loving that show because I love the 80s, and also I'm pretty sure either if I was living in the 80s, I would die, or I would be a jazzercise fucking god.
You would have been a jazzercise man.
Yes, I completely agree.
You and Jamie Lee Curtis would have had so much chemistry.
Oh my God.
What could have been?
What could have been? Yeah. And then tonight I'm just having a good old Jameson Stout. It was the last of my Jameson Stout bottle, so I was kind of sad about that. But and some Coke in it. So Jordan, what are you drinking? What was the last movie you watched?
So I'm gonna give a big shout out. I went out to Rhode Island, not this past weekend, but the weekend before, and went to a brewery called Long Live Brewery, or Long Live Beer Works, and they had this delicious imperial stout called My Name Is Otis. If you take a look at this thing, it is a Oreo marshmallow imperial stout. It is delicious.
It's every word that you said is stuff that I love.
My mouth is watering right now.
It's
just
so good.
Looking at it.
If any of your followers live in Rhode Island and you don't know about Long Live, go to Long Live. It is the best brewery in Rhode Island.
And send us beer.
Yes, please. And also Long Live if you want to sponsor us.
Just throwing that out there.
Right.
Yeah.
Just throwing that out there. No big deal.
And then the last movie, I've been doing shows as well. You guys got me to rewatch Ted Lasso, and I will say I cried more on the second time around than I did on the first. When Roy Kent walks off in that last episode, tears flowing, I'm like, come on. This is ridiculous. I'm a grown man. I should not be crying like this. But so I watched that. But this weekend, went to a barbecue with my boys, and we started talking about Nick Cage movies. And of course, you talk about the Holy Trinity, which is it's Face Off, Con Air, and The Rock. It's the Holy Trinity of action movies, right?
Yes.
And so we started just yelling the Michael Biehn shower scene at each other at this family barbecue that we got invited to. And so we're just off in the corner just going, I will not give that order. I cannot give that order at each other the whole time. People are 100% staring at us. So I got pretty drunk, came home and watched The Rock. So that is the last movie I have watched.
Wow, it's a great movie.
It's so much fun. I listened to a podcast recently about it, and they actually said that Michael Bay had to tell Sean Connery to turn down the charisma, and that's already up at a 15.
Yeah.
So I don't know where he was. That Michael Bay was like, "Hey, take it easy."
Yeah. Did he want him to be more of like he wanted him to be the more baseline because he knew Nick Cage was going to be fucking super crazy?
I guess.
It seems like their characters should be flopped that way because Nick Cage plays the science geek.
Right.
And then he's the, criminal.
Yeah.
But Nick Cage, for some reason, as a science geek, is the craziest person, full of Marines and SEALs.
Yeah.
And he is the most insane human being in that movie.
Yeah. Well, he's second to the guy that he kills with the VX gas marble.
Yeah,
that guy's out of his mind.
That's
talking to Ed Harris at the end. He's out of his mind.
I know like 20 dudes like that, so it's not that crazy to me.
Ready to rock and roll, sir.
Hell yeah.
Colin, what about you, bud?
Oh, okay. So I'm going to start off with what I'm drinking, which is just water. But I'm so excited. You got to hydrate. Hydration is key. All right. But I'm so excited that you brought up Nick Cage, because last night I got home and I was like, you know what? It's been a minute since you've sat down and watched a movie. And last night I watched Willy's Wonderland.
I chose The Rock over that.
Is it as insane as it fucking looks? It's pretty much Five Nights at Freddy's, right?
It's pretty much Five Nights at Freddy's.
Yeah.
And you know, I'm sure that I'm going to get a lot of flack from this. It's better than Mandy.
Oh, wow. That's high praise.
I have specific feelings about Mandy because I love Mandy as well.
Super good.
But Mandy is two different movies that they've fused into one, in my opinion.
Yeah, I could see that.
And also in Mandy, Nicolas Cage had to speak.
Oh yeah, he doesn't speak.
He has no lines in it.
No.
That's great.
And it's such a calculated, weird fucking movie that's creepy as fuck. I went ape shit for it. I laid down and I was like, I'm gonna watch this movie, and then I'm just like up against my headboard, just like, oh yeah, all right, okay, cool. I can't really say much about it because I don't want to offer any spoilers or anything. Fuck, dude. It's well shot. The dialogue is in that similar sense of just like cheesy horror.
Yeah, it's a B-movie horror.
B-movie horror for sure. I'm sure it's probably better than Jiu-Jitsu, so...
Well, sure.
I'll never watch that movie. There's no way
I 100% will. I will 100%.
I would watch it with a group of people to laugh, but I would not feel good about myself if I just sat down by myself and watched the film.
I'll never watch it by myself, but I would have a lot of drinks and be like, let's see how this goes. That's it. Maybe I'll just tell Mom that's the horror movie this year. Mom, it's jiu-jitsu. Which also, hi Mom, hi Tina. Welcome to the stream. So yeah, that's the last movie I watched, and I thoroughly suggest it. It's on Hulu.
Yeah.
All right.
The other Nick Cage one that I know came between the two, which I haven't made my way to see, was The Color Out of Space. Have either of you seen that one?
No, I've heard.
Yeah, I've heard good things
about it. Yeah, I've heard very good things.
Yeah, I'll have to find that one eventually as well.
Okay.
I'll report back.
Well, tonight Jordan is joining us once again on the BFC'S. And Jeff, what movie are we talking about tonight?
Tonight we are talking about the mind-bending 2016 Marvel film Doctor Strange, starring Benedict Cumberbatch and a bunch of other people's names that are really hard to say.
Like Rachel McAdams. Jeff can't say that.
I can't get them Irish names down.
Tilda Swinton, just so hard.
Tilda Swinton and Mads Mikkelsen playing themselves in this movie.
Benedict Wong as Wong.
See, everybody's just playing themselves. It totally makes sense. I'll just start off kind of giving my quick thoughts about this movie. Similar to the way that I put the first Captain America, this was a very safe origin film. It's just a very safe origin film. They threw in a lot. They gave fan favorite things of people who know the comic book. Like, oh yeah, that thing and that thing. I don't know a lot about Doctor Strange, I'm not gonna lie, but I could understand that they were throwing in all these different elements that are taken from the comic, that they were like, oh, Doctor Strange fans will know what these things are. Which we're definitely a little bit more accustomed to him and understand him a little bit better now that he's been in the MCU for a quick minute now. It was, which we'll get onto the visuals eventually, but visually the most amazing looking Marvel film. I would say still to this day is the most amazing looking Marvel film. I do kind of feel a little bit that they were going into the world-bending stuff coming off of the high of Inception. That they were like, oh, this is a thing that people are going to like because Inception did it. And I'm like, it barely had anything to do with Inception, but having the hallway scenes of it turning, having the buildings bend, it was very Inception-like. But it makes sense in the Doctor Strange world. So
100%.
Yeah. And then I thought all around the cast was amazing. I thought everybody did a great job. And I think they did a really good job of... I don't like when movies hold our hands, but this is such a far step from any other Marvel movie so far that I think that Marvel did a really good job at just holding our hand and being like, this is this, this is this, this is how this world works, this is this character, and that's it. Like, they didn't have to get super fucking crazy with it because we know with the next Doctor Strange movie, which is going to get real fucking weird.
I can't fucking wait.
I cannot fucking wait. That is the one Marvel movie that I'm just losing it over. But yeah, overall, it's a good film. It's a good film. I'm not going to say it's a great film, but yeah, it's a good film. Like it was very watchable and it was very entertaining. So, and this is honestly the second time I've seen this movie. There was only 2 Marvel movies I only saw once before this, and that was Thor: The Dark World and Doctor Strange. I just never came back to Doctor Strange because I just didn't feel a need to. In Dark World, I just didn't want to put myself through that again, but we already did, so.
And that's what we did this for, to make you live through struggles.
Yep.
Got it.
Hey, it's like a relationship. You got to go through the goods and bads, so. Yeah. Yeah, Jordan, what'd you think of this film?
I'm very much on the same page as you. I do think that visually this is stupendous. It is by far the best visual aspect of any of the Marvel movies. It's beautiful. You're in a combination of a kaleidoscope and an MC Escher poster. Like, it's so cool the way it's done. It's beautiful. They jump in a little bit more into philosophy in this one, which I find a little bit interesting. You get into the idea of the separation of the ego and just that, Freudian stuff comes across as playful in this, where, you're dealing with egomaniacs throughout most of the Marvel universe, whether it's Tony Stark, Doctor Strange, or any of the villains themselves.
Yeah.
So getting a little bit into that Freudian philosophy is kind of cool, especially through the eyes of the Ancient One. So I did enjoy that part of it. The acting was fine. Nobody was overly impressive. The story itself was a standalone origin story. You guys brought me in for Ant-Man, and I'm like that. I'm on 2 standalones here because I find them actually kind of similar in that case, where it's just a plain origin story. It's very interesting, but it's just to move along the rest of the universe and tie everything in. I do like the little tie-ins that it had with the Marvel Universe, especially when we're starting to look at like the quantum realm and everything like that. Yeah. How the multiverse looks kind of similar to that quantum realm-esque thing. So I thought that was pretty cool, and how you could see that.
Yep.
And even they tie in Rhodey being injured in the car when he's talking on the car right before the accident. Yep. So it's cool where they have their little tie-ins in this little standalone. It's a lot more subtle than it was in other movies, and which made it feel like its own film still at the same time. But very enjoyable. Nothing, kind of little cookie cutter, but just enjoyable overall. A lot of exposition, though, from what you were saying. Yeah. I agree with that. Tons of exposition. And understandable from the perspective of the neophyte viewer saying, I have no clue what the multiverse is or what, the magic side of Marvel is.
Yeah, agreed. CJ, what'd you think, and what was your experience with this film?
Okay, so you guys both had very intelligent answers, and I'm going to tell you right now, I will not. So the first time that I watched this movie, I saw it in a theater, and I made this very special batch of cookies that were
Toll House.
They were Toll House cookies that were so delicious, you should only have like a half a cookie.
Gotcha.
All right.
Gotcha.
Kind of that realm. And I went and saw it with a very close friend of all of ours. And I went and saw it with his soon-to-be spouse. And when I was on my way out of our house, I was like, I'm going to eat a half a cookie. And he said, no, fuck that. You're going to eat a full cookie. I'm going to live vicariously through you. And I said, that's a great idea. So I thought it was. And we're in the car on the way to the movie theater. And we develop a code word for when I am just enjoying how delicious this is too much. So we get to the theater. They buy tickets. I'm standing in the theater. I see someone that is of like stature that is above me, and I'm like, oh shit, should I be worried about this? No, I'm probably fine. That's okay. We get into the theater, we sit down. The code word's deer crossing for when it's just too delicious for me. And I'm sitting there, and then the Marvel intro, and they just put out the cinematic intro.
Oh.
So it wasn't the normal comic book one. They brought in all the like footage from all the movies, and I just lean over and I was like, is that super long? And they were like, yeah, it kind of felt long. And I was like, all right, cool. And then the movie starts. And then they start bending worlds together, and immediately I'm just like, this is too delicious. Oh my God, deer crossing. But that's all in my head because I can't say anything because of the fact that it's just so delicious that I'm just like, fuck, if you say anything, you're going to scream. So I'm freaking out the whole time. And then slowly I ended up, they were in their recliners, and I would have my legs out, but then slowly they would just go. And then I would realize that, and then I would put them out straight. Just to be like, be cool. You can handle how delicious this Toll House cookie is. And then slowly, they would come back, and my mouth would just go. So we watched the whole movie, and we got to the end of it. And, there's normal post-credit scenes. Nope. Seconds credits come up. I get up. I leave the theater. Just walk out.
Nice.
Didn't even care.
The post-credit scenes at that point.
I looked them up on like the next day because the cookie was so delicious that I just couldn't handle it.
I will say you missed one of the. I think it's my favorite prop in the Marvel universe in that post-credit scene. Oh,
I was very excited to rewatch them.
The refilling beer.
Yes, the refilling beer mug.
Yeah.
Yes. Which we'll get to see that again in Thor Ragnarok. So.
Yeah.
So the second time I watched that movie, I won't get into the story, but I happened to have a sweet tart. That was pretty good.
Was it equally as delicious?
It's more.
It's a different kind of delicious.
It was super, super tart. So, yeah. So that was my first and probably third experience with the movie. but I still enjoyed it. But visually, it's crushing when you're just eating delicious Toll House cookies. So.
Yeah, guys, we're talking about snacks. Let us know in the chat what your favorite snack when going to see a movie is.
Mescaline.
I love Sour Patch Kids.
I love morphine and Sour Patch Kids.
Just put me on the drip.
So, Jeff, you've already talked about how you don't know much about the comic book history of Doctor Strange.
Yeah. Now, I did read Doctor Strange. Well, he was part of this series later on, which was called the Illuminati. It was Doctor Strange, Tony Stark, T'Challa, and Reed Richards. And they basically formed a group of the smartest minds in the world to help solve problems scientifically and in the best way that they saw fit. It's basically like this secret group or whatever of the smartest guys. And it's such a good fucking run. It's pretty new. I could look it up, but just look up Marvel Illuminati. It's so good.
Just look up straight up Illuminati.
Just look up
and
Illuminati.
It's so good.
And then just go down a wormhole and just question everything in life.
It's very similar to the Pentaveret.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Let's go over real quick the synopsis of this. So, Dr. Stephen Strange, played by Benedict Cumberbatch, basically life changes after a car accident robs him of the use of his hands. So when traditional medicine fails him, he looks for healing and hope in a mysterious enclave. He quickly learns that the enclave is at the front line of a battle of dark forces. Dormammu lives in this place called the Dark Universe, I think, yes. And they are basically warriors that are fighting against these types of forces. And the battle of the movie, you know, what is the
Dark Dimension.
The Dark Dimension, thank you. So, yeah, the Dark Universe, I think that was Universal Studios' failed connected monster movie cinematic universe they were going to do.
Still pissed about that, but that's fine.
Don't bring up the Mummy. There's only one Mummy, and you know it's Brendan Fraser's.
I've never watched that movie, and I never probably will. But they
the Tom Cruise or the Brendan Fraser?
Tom Cruise.
Of
course I've seen the Brendan Fraser. I've ridden the Mummy ride multiple times, which is a great ride at Universal Studios. But actually, funny enough, the movie was really shitty from what I've heard, obviously, the Tom Cruise Mummy. But they made a 16-bit style Metroidvania type of game that tied in with the movie, and it's fucking amazing. It's a dope ass game. So
what's consoles is it on?
I'm pretty sure you can get it on Switch, and then probably any shop you could probably buy it on. I'm almost 100% positive it's on Switch. I think I had it on 3DS back in the day, but I'm pretty sure they ported it to the Switch. So, but yeah, it's great. Definitely play it. Like if you love Metroidvania games. So that's the key: is you have to make a really shitty movie, and then the game will be awesome. Because anytime they make a game off of a movie, it always sucks. So
true.
You just gotta, you know, they always talk about what are the main conflicts within a story: man versus man, man versus nature, man versus himself. This movie does a really good job of really doing all three in a way. I mean, if you say the man versus nature is the dark dimension coming into our world, man versus man is him fighting against Mads Mikkelsen's character, whatever the fuck. I don't know. There's so many weird names.
Caecilius, yeah.
And then
so many silly names.
And then man versus himself, which is probably the best conflict in the entire movie, is this man that's Tony Stark level obnoxious and egotistical, like you were saying, Jordan, and him having to deal with not being able to use the one gift and the only, I think, purpose that he had in his life, the only motivation he had in his life was to basically be the greatest neurosurgeon in the fucking world. And when that was all taken from him, he had to change, you know?
You can always bring that same thing as to man versus nature, because it's what happened to him.
True.
On the road that destroyed what he was doing.
Yeah.
So it's a whole like what the fuck is it with the snake eats its tail?
Oh yes, I know what you're talking about. I can't think of that.
Oh, I don't know that.
Over opus, whatever it is. But it's a whole constant feeding thing where it's just like, well, this caused this caused this, and it's this whole kind of like.
Yeah, and even if you do a little bit of a deep dive into the philosophy type of thing, you actually look at it as naturalism versus supernaturalism, and so Doctor Strange is the naturalist, whereas everybody else surrounding him are the supernaturalists. And so you're still looking at man versus nature in that sense, where he's the naturalist, and so you get that going. But it's some weird deep dives on philosophy that I can spout off about, but I think that's less to the point.
Yeah. I did really appreciate that they didn't do that whole, like, he doesn't believe them for a long time and he tries to come up with... No, right away, fucking... Yeah, the Ancient One's just like, I'm just going to knock you out of your body and then send you on this insane fucking trip. And then he immediately accepts it and is like, teach me, I'm in. Like, I'm glad they just got past that right away, and they were just like, I hate when movies do that where they just like hang on it forever, and he keeps trying to, calculate,
rationalize and figure it out.
Yeah. I'm glad that they didn't do that. There's too much in this movie to unpack, and that would have just been so stupid, and just it's been overdone way too many times. So
yeah.
Do you? Yeah, I kind of pick up on what you were saying there, though, Siege. Do you guys think that if you were suddenly introduced to the mystic arts like this, do you think that you would try and dive into it, or do you think this would be like, I don't know, I don't think I'm gonna go there.
You show me magic, I'm doing magic.
Yeah,
not close-up magic, because I'm not going to be sitting there trying to like take off my thumb. But like, you show me magic,
a few card tricks I could show you.
I'm all in. Like, there's no question. If it exists, I want it.
All right. So I've got like a weird relationship with like witches and magic, because I have witches in my family.
Yep.
And after loss and after things that we've been through, there is the possibility that I could be, if any of this is real, the last in the line. And I refuse to take the mantle. And I know this all sounds crazy, but it fucking scares me. Like, yeah. I honestly, I don't want to know what else is out there, because I stopped trying to dream because I was too afraid of my own thoughts. I'm a very lucid dreamer. I just forced myself to stop doing that because I terrified of that part of my brain. So I honestly, I don't know.
Yeah.
I think about it all the time. I don't know.
Yeah, I get that.
What about you, Jeff? Are you in?
To a certain point, to kind of hit a little bit on what CJ said, knowing that there is this magical side to the world, and that fascinates me, but like the idea of demonology and things like that, if that was also true, that would scare the living shit out of me, and I'd be like, I don't fucking want to. Like, I'm one of those people, yes, I know that like Milton Bradley makes the fucking Ouija board, but if I see somebody and they're like, hey man, you want to play Ouija? I'm like, no, I don't. Just in case. Okay?
I've seen that movie.
Yeah.
It doesn't end well.
I'm not gonna mess with the Ouija board, because I do truly believe that there is shit out there that we can't fucking explain. And I don't think we should try and contact shit like that. So I don't know, I'd be a little apprehensive, but if I went to a place that was gonna teach me how to battle things like that, I think I'd be like, fuck yeah, let's do this.
Well, that's like either you become a warrior for that or you become just like knowledgeable of it, are two different situations.
Yeah.
I just want to be the Bleecker Street magician, okay? I just want to fucking run the Sanctum Sanctorum and be this fucking all-knowing fucking badass. So
yeah, if I put this in the world of like technology, being an IT guy, there are users that have no clue what they're doing. They're too ignorant about machines to break anything because they just do what they're supposed to do. Yeah. And then you have the people who know just enough to break stuff. And that's how I feel like you're talking about it, where somebody who knows just enough magic, they're going to be like, oh, I'm going to do this thing and release a demon. Yeah. Or contact a dark dimension or something like that. No, I would be way more in saying, like, yeah, I want to get the whole hog in there.
I want full knowledge. I want to know the process. It's the mindset of just like, oh, you can know 10,000 kicks, or you can know one kick and do it 10,000 times. Like,
yeah,
you're not gonna fuck it up. I'm more afraid of that dude than the dude that can do 10,000 kicks. Fuck that guy. I'll beat his ass. Like, that's no big deal.
Yeah.
With that, I don't think Stephen Strange put in his 10,000 hours of work just yet when he was asked to save the world.
No, but it's. I think it's less about the fact that whether he did or not, or whether the Sorcerer Supreme knew it was going to happen, because she was living in many different realms.
Yeah,
and she knew. I mean, we know that once we get to Endgame. I mean, she was like, he said, I'm looking for Dr. Strange. She said Stephen Strange is doing surgery 4 blocks west or whatever. And, she says he will, he is supposed to be the best of us. She already knows who the next Sorcerer Supreme will be.
Yeah.
Like she's already on that knowledge track. And it's kind of cool, because you would think like, oh, okay, he just comes in and he's just naturally good at magic. No, he's not naturally good at magic. He uses his already ability, like he says, of his photographic memory, in which how he got his MD and his PhD, to fucking study his ass off and learn this shit very quickly, a lot quicker than most people probably could, because he's one of the most brilliant minds in this universe. So, like, I like that, adding that into there, because it probably would have been a boring, like, Harry Potter movie where he has to go through, like, 7 years of fucking school to, like, learn some shit. Like,
he's getting bullied by Wong. Wong's like, get out of here, nerd. Stop reading books.
Yeah. Speaking of Wong, do you guys want to get into some of the characters in this movie?
For sure.
Sure.
Like I'll real quick, I want to say, awesome to see Benjamin Bratt in a movie.
You naming my guy right off the bat.
Okay, go ahead.
This was hard Benjamin Bratt. Like, listen, he comes in just as Pangborn, as this guy who isn't supposed to be able to walk. He had a spine injury. He had to get carried to the tops of mountains, and you see him playing pickup basketball in New York, and he just comes off like fantastic. I expected him to have like a bigger role in this universe, because one, you're getting an actor who's a real actor. Yes. It's not one of these side characters, and you get Benjamin Bratt out there actually putting on a really good performance, talking it through, and it's a 5-minute scene. Yeah. But it's actually one of my favorite scenes in this movie.
When he's like, I gave up on my body, but I thought then I should work on my mind.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, fuck, dude, you got it. Yeah. God damn it.
He nailed his role. And I know we do our standout characters, and Benjamin Bratt was mine. Like, I could say Wong, he's the fun guy, but it's Benjamin Bratt in this movie puts out everything he has in those 5 minutes, and it's such a great linchpin of this entire film.
But also, like, in his last scene, which is one of the post-credit scenes that we'll get into, his physicality is fucking stellar.
Yeah.
When Mordo removes that part of him, the way he crumbles and the way you see his hands like fucking come in, it's brilliant. It's fucking brilliant.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just such a great casting. He was perfect. I know he's not like this Oscar-worthy actor, but I gotta say he was fantastic in just this 5-minute role.
Benjamin Bratt is the best part of Demolition Man. I will argue with anybody that till I'm red in the face. Like, because everybody else was just being them. They were just playing themselves in Demolition Man. Mm-hmm. Like, I will stick by that. That whole cast was fucking stellar. But Benjamin Bratt was such an out there fucking character. It's just the goofy, like, doesn't understand, and he's super happy about everything. Yeah. And he's my absolute favorite part of Demolition Man. Like, I've always loved Benjamin Bratt. So, yeah, shout out to him.
Hell yeah.
I got to get on to Tilda Swinton. I mean,
dude, Tilda Swinton, bro.
Tilda Swinton is the fucking shit. But I will say she's just playing Tilda Swinton. I feel like Tilda Swinton is exactly like that in real life. I feel like she's just this all-knowing, like super hyper-intelligent, just very philosophical person. Maybe that's just because of her past roles and the way she speaks. She has that. Maybe
she's actually an alien and she's just blessing us with her skills.
I do also believe.
Have you seen The Dead Don't Die?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
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 Yeah, as soon as I saw that, I was like, "Of course, Tilda Swinton's in this."
That's real.
Yeah. Like, yeah, it's just.
How did you feel about her casting, though? I know there was a lot of issues with that being whitewashed.
Yes,
and that was a very concerning thing when the movie was initially coming about.
And it's been brought up lately by Kevin Feige, and he was kind of like, "Yeah, that wasn't really fucking cool of us to do." I don't know why there's been such a hard representation of Asian people within the MCU to this point.
I mean, between what, the Mandarin, the Ancient One, and then Iron Fist. I can't remember his real name. But, Danny Rand. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, those three are the huge gaps right there. That is whitewashing to an extreme.
Yeah, which we got Shang-Chi coming out, and
Shang-Chi,
which is gonna be fucking super stellar. I 100% believe they're setting up West Coast Avengers. I will stick by that. I think they're gonna do a West Coast Avengers movie. I mean, the fact that he lives in the exact same city as fucking Ant-Man, like, come on, you guys are setting up West Coast Avengers.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's unfortunate. She did a great job.
Yeah. She's a fantastic actress.
Yeah, I'm not going to take that away from her. But I don't get it. I don't know why there's been such bad representation, not just MCU films, but just movies, period. And it's getting a lot better. So that's awesome.
Yes.
Mads Mikkelsen, just not utilized enough for me.
Yeah.
Agreed. I wanted him.
Yes, I want more Mads Mikkelsen. I want more Mads Mikkelsen in everything.
Everywhere.
Yep.
Yeah.
I follow him on Instagram, and he's just such a positive, cool-looking dude that I'm just like, what's up, man? Do you want to be friends? Do you want to hang out?
Yeah. You know, and there's going to be some hardcore James Bond fans out there that are 100% going to disagree with me, but his character in Casino Royale,
Le Chouf,
yes, is one of my favorite fucking Bond villains. I think he plays it off very well. You know, they always have to have this obscure, like, sort of disability, and him bleeding or him crying blood is the dopest fucking thing. And just Death Stranding, he's in that, which is one of my all-time favorite games. Like,
I mean, Rogue One.
Polar, yes.
Amazing. And I mean, he's got the new one. It's the foreign film where he just drinks the entire time.
I don't know what
Another Round. It's called Another Round.
You told me about it. I've been wanting. Yeah,
it's a foreign film. I forget what country he's from in general. I apologize to the fans out there, but it's him and just 4 friends find out that there's like this experiment that if you just maintain a BAC of 0.08, like what your life would be like.
Yeah.
And they just keep upping the ante, and it ends up they like ruin their lives. But Yeah, it's supposed to be an amazing movie, and they're making an American one with Leonardo DiCaprio.
I'm pretty sure Mads Mikkelsen is Danish.
There you go. Okay.
Yeah, he's from Copenhagen, Denmark.
Okay. Yeah, I wanted to say Norwegian, so I'm glad I didn't.
Yeah.
But you just said it now, so go fuck yourself.
Yep. I had to admit to myself that I was making a mistake.
Yeah.
No, he's amazing.
I still don't know if it was on purpose, but Benedict Wong being casted as just Wong, I don't know if that was just like that was a choice they made, or it's just super funny to me, or it's super wrong. I can't tell. I don't know how I feel about it. It's just one of those things. It's like, yeah, Benedict Wong as Wong. It's just like, all right, that's a thing.
He's been around for a while, though. He's fantastic.
Yeah.
I've always enjoyed him. I think my favorite out of him is always going to be Sunshine, though. Danny Boyle.
Yes.
Yeah, Danny Boyle. Cillian Murphy. Chris Evans, right?
Rose Byrne was in that, too.
There you go.
Rose Byrne was in that.
He's just a fantastic actor.
That was kind of Danny Boyle's coming off the high of 28 Days Later, and the studio was like, here's a ton of money, and he made a really epic. I love, like, my all-time favorite series is horror, like space horror films.
Yep.
Like, those are the coolest fucking movies, and that's what that movie straight up is.
Yeah.
And it's great. Yeah. Yeah, I completely forgot he was in that, though.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
He also just seems like a cool guy. Like, if him and, like, Mads Mikkelsen wanted to grab a beer, I'd be like, fuck guys.
You know they were drinking on set, those two. They were just hey, let's hang out. Everybody else seems like dweebs. Let's go do our own thing.
Yeah.
I did remember when when they were filming this, shots of Benedict Cumberbatch in full Doctor Strange costume was just walking around Manhattan and walking in.
Comic book stores.
Yeah, and just being like, "What's up, guys?" And everybody's like, "Holy shit, it's Doctor Strange!" Like, yeah. So I thought that was fucking awesome. Let's talk about the man himself. I mean, Benedict Cumberbatch. I mean, I'm gonna go with perfect casting.
I will say there was one other person I would have been really super excited to see as Doctor Strange.
Mads Mikkelsen, got it.
I would have been interested to see Keanu Reeves.
Oh my god, I never thought about that.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure he was in the running at one point.
Oh, really?
Or at least there was just like rumors about him taking it. And I got super excited to see that.
Keanu Reeves is going to enter the MCU at some point. It's already in the talks.
Yeah, he's had multiple meetings with Kevin Feige and the whole Marvel producers multiple times, like within the past year. So he is going to enter it at some point.
Yeah, I'd like to see him come in as a villain, though, and like actually just blow the roof off of it.
Oh, I would like to see him come in as an anti-hero.
Yeah,
Okay, so you both just described exactly. I mean, come on, Adam Warlock.
Yeah, I thought it. Yeah, I thought it.
I mean, he doesn't look anything like Adam Warlock, but who gives a shit? We can change people. Whatever. Who cares?
Did Tilda Swinton look like the ancient one?
No, absolutely not. Go. But I mean, because we were talking about in Guardian when we did the Guardians 2 podcast. Like, I mean, it's got to be somebody big. I mean, Adam Warlock is such a fucking important character in this whole story. Like, they have to go big with Adam Warlock. So that would blow everybody's fucking minds.
We're all right. Because I can go in on this, but we're not talking about Adam Warlock.
We're tangenting a lot.
I know we are tangent, but hey, this is a Marvel podcast, guys.
Yeah,
this is a Marvel podcast.
We're in the multiverse, guys.
Yeah, we are full blown in the multiverse. Which this is the first time they say multiverse, right?
Yeah,
this is the first time we've talked about it in the MCU up to this point. And we're still getting teased it. It's not a spoiler. I think it's pretty obvious in the trailers. We're talking about the multiverse right now with the Loki show. I mean, it's still it's still slowly but surely ramping up to an actual multiverse.
Yeah. They don't mention it in Captain Marvel, do they?
No.
Okay. All right.
No.
I don't know what. Yeah. Oh no, I'm thinking about them just posing as each other. That would be like, yeah. Never mind.
Yeah.
I'm good.
I mean, if you ever want to talk about Captain Marvel, that's Jeff's favorite. So like, he'll talk about that for days, and we don't have time for that tangent. So
No.
we don't have time for that.
Oh, that movie was so good.
He loves it so much.
But yeah, going back to Benedict, he was great. He's fantastic. He's snarky. He brought in a lot of his Sherlock Holmes style, like banter. He is very quick-witted, and even his physical comedy a little bit. Like, I'll tell you the truth, I think this was actually the most comedic fight scene in Marvel.
Yeah.
Oh, with when he gets his cape, or
even like right before he gets that, and they're really going at it. I just think it's actually brilliantly funny, the fight scene, which that's a shocker considering it's Doctor Strange.
Yeah.
But yeah, he's got great timing on everything. He's a decent physical actor, but the way he speaks just ran perfect for Doctor Strange.
And he physically looks exactly like Doctor Strange. Like, when it comes to just a physical standpoint, besides Robert Downey Jr., spot on.
Yeah. Yeah, they nailed it.
And both characters, I've wondered, why the fucking goatee, guys? Why?
Seriously, go full beard. Come on.
Why?
I don't know, man.
Although he did have some struggle growing that beard. That beard did not look great on him.
And just have a mustache.
I definitely made that comment when we were watching it. I was like, that's probably one of the worst beards I've ever seen.
Yeah.
That would be like me trying to go with a beard. Like, that was pretty shitty.
We mentioned Inception earlier, but Leo's beard in Inception and his beard here, two of the worst on screen.
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah. I think it took Leo like 6 months before they filmed The Revenant to finally get it to a point, and then it was another year and a half of filming that film just to get an okay beard. And I think Tom Hardy just concentrated really hard one night and just grew it. So,
oh mate, got a beard right there. All right, let's film like. Oh, you still got to wait 6 months? I guess I'll shave it off. All right, see you later.
Because there's one thing Hollywood loves doing, and that's covering up Tom Hardy's face for some reason.
Fuck, I don't get it.
He's got messed up teeth, but that's about it. He's a beautiful fucking man. So.
Yeah.
Yeah, guys. Real quick, let's take a break, and then we'll come back, talk a little bit more, and then give our final thoughts. Sound good?
Sounds good.
All right. And we are back.
All right. I've got one more thing about Benedict Cumberbatch as Doctor Strange, and it's probably my favorite scene in the entire movie. And it's the scene right after he murders someone for the first time. Like, in which you see other heroes murder people. You don't really ever see them deal with it. And he immediately deals with it because of his past and what he does. And I thought it was such an interesting scene to watch.
Yeah, not only is he murdering somebody for the first time, but it's also the first time he's let someone die. He continually talks about his perfect record, that he's never lost someone in a surgery, that he's always healed the person. And so when you look at it in that spectrum, not only is it the first time he's killed someone, it's the first time someone has died at his hands in general.
Yeah, and working against, like we were saying, it's the Hippocratic Oath that every medical member, takes. And that was I don't think I picked up on that the first time I watched it, but I definitely, this viewing, I was like, oh, that's really an interesting take, and that was like a cool character choice for them, just to have that scene real quick and be like, okay, he's dealing with this. And I would say from this point on, we haven't seen him murder anybody.
Yeah. And I also think that, it ties into where, like you were saying, every other hero has murdered people.
Yeah,
but
Captain America has murdered so many people.
Yes.
Yes.
That's what America fucking does.
But he is, and it's interesting that he is the other, like the supernatural arm of Marvel, where he's like this separate arm, whereas like the regular Avengers, the superheroes, they're a murderous bunch, murder hobos if you want to get into D&D language. But like he he's taking the other route. He's mystical, he's magical, and he doesn't kill. And so it's really an interesting tie-in where like that side of Marvel is like the cleaner side, if you will.
Yeah, it's about to be the darker side, though.
Yeah, it's the cleaner side, but it's also the bigger picture side of everything. I mean, look at how Infinity War starts. I mean, Doctor Strange just shows up and is like, Tony Stark, I need you. Let's go. Like, I'm not fucking around right now. This is serious shit. Oh, you had a little spat with, Captain America. Like, they're basically like saying fuck you to everything else. Like, this is real world shit right now. This is universal multiverse shit. Like, this is the real shit that matters.
That ties into the Ancient One being like, this is how it's going to go. I know the end of this. I know the beginning of this. This is the moment that I've only lived to see, and I've never been able to see past.
And she had to stay. I thought about this last night because I saw her, I think the first time around, as somebody who made a decision to do something as far as being a hypocrite and saying, don't use dark magic, but she was using dark magic. She used the dark magic to make sure she stayed alive long enough to train Doctor Strange. She knew that this was her path to do this and to pass on her knowledge to Doctor Strange so he could become the Sorcerer Supreme. Like, it totally makes sense.
Do you think that Doctor Strange could have used the Time Stone to just, like, reverse her injury?
I think he could have reversed her injury.
And reversed his own?
And I think he could have gotten Thanos stuck in a time loop forever until he finally gave up and beat Thanos. 100%.
I disagree with the second one.
Doctor Strange and Captain Marvel could have totally beat fucking Thanos in Infinity War. Both of those two. That's why they couldn't. They had to kind of sort of take her out of the story at that point, and they had to give him some sort of philosophical, I've looked over a million different ideas, whatever. We'll get more into it in Infinity War, but that's personally what I think. So, but yeah. What else?
Visually, let's talk about the visuals. Yes. The biggest part that this movie was incredible visually. The way that they just like took apart floorboards in such a poetic way, almost.
Yeah, it was very well done. There was a couple scenes where you see the characters moving through the world shifting. That was very obviously CGI'd characters, but it was still well done. It wasn't very abrupt or that. It
didn't take away from the story, really.
No, not at all. I think that definitely heightened it. And them doing that, similar to what I said during kind of my opening remarks with them coming off the high of Inception and using that world-bending type of stuff. I think they knew they had to have some sort of big spectacle with that type of stuff, because then the whole movie would have been them discussing philosophies and doing this with their hands. And it wouldn't have been that great. You know what I mean? Yeah.
Or without their hands.
All that stuff. Like, it would have been like, okay, cool, and then doing hand-to-hand type of combat with these different weapons that they make. But them to do the glass dimension and all that, like
the mirror dimension.
Mirror dimension, thank you. And
get it right. I know I know everything about comic books, so
I know you do.
Yeah, I know.
I mean, traveling the first initial kick that she gives him, sending him through that fever dream until he arrives back, like. It's such a spectacle.
Him growing hands out of his fingers and then his fingers growing more
so
hands.
Creepy.
If that is just a tease of what we're going to get in Multiverse of Madness, that movie's going to be real creepy.
Oh.
I feel like that right now I could say so many things that I probably should just keep to myself and we'll have separate conversations on. But I am here for it.
Yes. Yes,
I'm here for it. That's it. I'm here for it.
To quote Peter Quill in Guardians 2, I'm going to make some weird shit.
Yep.
I think my favorite out of all the different spectacles that we saw, though, was towards the tail end the kaleidoscope in which they were surrounded by when it was, Mads Mikkelsen facing off against Tilda Swinton, going through that fight sequence where behind them is just the kaleidoscope circling around them, and they're fighting on this platform that looks like it's made from old subway like memorabilia almost, like subway spots from like the 1950s, and it's just that old school New York stuff is just beautiful in general, and then to build it into this like flowery mosaic, it was just gorgeous. And so looking at that with the kaleidoscope surrounding them, it was beautiful, and such a great like fight sequence to take place right on that platform.
Even the scene, like the final scene of like the final conflict of the movie, and just him repeating it, going back to Dormammu. Can be such a big sacrifice and visually so cool. And you got to see him repeat it, and Dormammu get confused, and Doctor Strange just get kind of frustrated of just like, I'm here to bargain.
Or whatever. Just kill me over and over, and we'll just keep doing this. He was just pulling some fucking Captain America. I can do this all day.
I can do this all day. But he was not near as cool as Captain America saying I could do this all day.
No.
He was just like, I'm here to bargain.
And then just sends them and turns them all into burnt aliens, demon people, and then sends them to the dark dimension. That was it was a really cool scene. It was really cool to, there's one thing big spectacle movies love doing, and that's destroying Tokyo and Hong Kong. Those are the two cities we love destroying. So
and even just to make it more fun, that scene, we all know who voiced Dormammu.
Oh, I didn't actually. I didn't even bother with it. No.
I used to know. No, I don't know.
No?
I used to know.
It is Benedict Cumberbatch himself.
Oh, that totally.
Yeah, so it is Cumberbatch.
His
Cumberbatch versus Cumberbatch in the final scene.
Oh.
God, he gets to play cool creatures for the voiceover.
Do you guys feel like that was a metaphor?
I don't think so. I think they just love his voice. He's got one of those amazing Hollywood voices. He's up there with like Patrick Warburton.
Yeah.
And John H. Benjamin, John Benjamin. But it's just a fantastic idea that he does that, and it's gorgeous, like over and over again. Every ounce of it, and you get like, it's once again those hints that gets closer to the idea that even within this multiverse, you see like that quantum realm like aspect also populating in there.
It's very, very similar to how it looks like in the Ant-Man movies and Endgame.
Which I didn't even make that connection that like in between the two when we asked you to do this second one. So hopefully we have a different one that's of a different style for the next one you do.
Maybe it won't. Maybe it'll just be in there again.
Maybe we're in the quantum realm right now.
What?
I'm here to bargain.
Yeah, and even the one scene where he gets sucked into his own eye, they talk about how the pupil actually represents, like the universe can look like the pupil of an eye. And so it's just like gorgeous representation on both sides of everything. It's beautiful the way they created these little tiny aspects that fit into our idea of what the universe is.
Agreed. And the budget was anywhere between 165 to 236 million. I'm guessing the 165 was to straight up make the movie, and then the rest was all the marketing and everything that went into it. But that's not that bad for the amount of visual effects went into this film.
That's way less than Guardians 2, Guardians 1.
Yeah, and it made 677 million. I mean, that's a lot. They made a shit ton of money off of this. It did really well. So, I think it was a good time to release this because, I mean, Marvel had already they built up enough of a Jesus, what is the word I'm looking
Reputation.
for? Reputation. Yep. I kept wanting to say representation. Like, that's not the word. Reputation at this point.
That's not true at all.
Nope. No. Yeah, that's obviously not true. At this point, to be able to be like, we're going to do something real fucking weird, and everybody's going to be okay with it. And we were. Yeah. We were all just like, yeah, I'm in. Cool.
And I feel like that this movie was successful because of the fact that we were ready for it, and where Thor: The Dark World could have fit into a different genre if they went full bore into it, the same way as Age of Ultron. But they felt that we were not ready for it. Yeah. And this one was kind of like, yeah, let's do it. Yeah. Let's make a weird movie. I'm going to do some weird shit with this one.
Yeah. I mean, even we talked about Ant-Man previously, even they weren't ready for it then. And that was just previous to this. They weren't ready for that Edgar Wright movie. And now they were like, yeah, let's get weird.
Yep. Agreed.
Jordan, you mentioned the Stan Lee cameo.
Yeah, speaking of weird. So when Stan Lee is actually on the bus, when... Who slaps into it? I think Benedict Cumberbatch, Doctor Strange, and Mordo slap into the bus. He's actually reading a book. And so if we want to get into weird, that book is called The Doors of Perception by Aldous Huxley. And what makes that super interesting is that it is actually based on his experiences viewing art while on mescaline. And it's actually basically... a bunch of different researchers taking mescaline and just looking at art and looking at different things and writing down their notes. Not that they were taking massive amounts. It was more like microdosing on everything, but it was just seeing a different view on the world through drugs and these psychedelic effects and then documenting it. It was like an experiment. And so I just thought that was a really cool one that ties so much into the way we were viewing this world, because you're looking at it and it's this whole kaleidoscope effect where, if you're having a tasty cookie at the beginning of a movie, that may give you some really interesting views on this movie.
Yeah. And if you told me that Steve Ditko wasn't on some sort of hallucinogens when he was creating Doctor Strange, I'm going to call bullshit.
Yeah, 100% agree with that.
It's some really philosophical, and even the comics are very out there.
Yeah.
And I mean, it makes sense. It was the 70s, man. Shit was.
It was. I was about to ask, when did the comic first come out?
I believe
the 70s.
It was the 70s. Oh no, it was just short. It was 68 because he appeared in Strange Tales.
Okay.
One of the late issues, 168. But that was 68. So, I mean, it was still the end of the 60s. There was probably a good chance that Steve Ditko and our boy were just, just experimenting a little bit,
just elevating themselves.
And I'm sure this book had a heavy influence on it. Viewing the world through that lens just creates such a different view. It's amazing.
Yeah, absolutely agreed. So, boys, with that said, do we want to get to our final scores on this film and final thoughts?
Yeah, I think I'm in on that.
Okay. Colin, I think I'm most interested because I don't know how you feel about this movie.
So I really like this movie. It's definitely not a 6. It's definitely not a 2, but I think it's better than a 3. I've enjoyed a lot of delicious things in my life. And just kind of the way that it opens up the mind of just like the possibilities and what's out there. I think it's fantastic. And I think the casting's great. Visually alone, I'd give it 6 stars. Or 6 stones, excuse me, buck stars. They don't even exist. They're not even real. That's more of my delicious talking. So that's a full blanket for it promise. Stars aren't real.
Stars aren't real.
Earth is flat.
Earth is flat. Stars aren't real.
I'm gonna give this 4 stones.
Okay. I'll go next. Jordan, you can definitely go last, man.
Sure, I'll close it out. Yeah.
I'm right there with you. It was a 4 for me. I was thinking about it as I was watching it. I wanted to give it higher, but even though I enjoyed the pacing as far as getting him into becoming Doctor Strange, I would have loved to see a lot more of him dealing with things on his own and just going on these crazy fucking trips of discovery and understanding the mystic arts and understanding how to pull these powers from other universes, which is how they pull in their powers, is to hone in this energy from other universes, and him finding that and internalizing that instead of just being like, I read a bunch of books, Wong, give me more books, and walks away with more books. I would have enjoyed actually a more grounded version of this movie.
I feel like that would have been a different character, though.
It would have, but I think you would have gotten to see a longer and better transition of him becoming the Doctor Strange that he is now.
Yeah.
So
I feel like the way that you wanted to see it was like the way that I would probably be Doctor Strange.
Yeah.
Which is way cooler.
Yeah. It'd have been way fucking cooler.
No.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. And I love the idea of, yes, tasty treats can be very fun, but the idea of your mind being the greatest drug and you being able to hone in on it and go on these crazy fucking trips, and now he has the power of other universes to do that. And I think this movie could have gotten even fucking weirder. I think this movie could have gotten real fucking weird. And it wouldn't have been for everybody, and Disney definitely would never make a movie like that. But that's kind of the Doctor Strange movie I want to see.
Agreed.
I mean, the name is taken from Strangelove, I'm guessing. It's taken from Doctor Strangelove. Like, that's my best guess, that this is where the name came from. So let's get fucking weird, man. Like, so yeah, I'll give it a 4. It was a little bland at moments. Rachel McAdams was just kind of, I do like her as an actress, but she's just kind of there. She was another kind of Jane Foster, and just kind of, she's the girlfriend, she's there, and the elements of that, and the elements of how quickly his accident happened, and there was a lot more that I wanted to see from this film that it didn't quite give us, but you have a 2-hour runtime to show a surgeon go to becoming a master of mystic arts. So I get it. I get it at the end of the day. But yeah, it's definitely a character I'm excited more to see from. So yeah, I'll give it 4 Infinity Stones. Jordan.
So I think you guys are both kind of on a similar page as me, but I will at the same point give it a 3. Visually, it's a 6. It is by far the most gorgeous movie in the Marvel Universe. I think, unfortunately, what you're stating is exactly how I feel about it. It felt almost DC-esque on how it was rushed through a little bit.
Yeah.
Where you didn't really get a lot of that. You get the origin, but even the origin feels a little rushed. I mean, he gets out there. How much time is it between his first surgery, to when he is a master of the arts here? And it's almost instantaneous that he picks this kind of stuff up. Where I'm sure within the comics and the realm of everything, it is much more of a gradual growth. And I get that we can't do that in movies. It's not necessarily a visually dynamic way to tell a story, but it kind of just feels rushed. And that is the disappointing side of this. I 100% believe that the love story side of this with Christine Palmer and Rachel McAdams is lackluster. I wanted to get 100%. More out of some of the side characters. When we talk about some of the other ones, there's a little bit better role players than everything. Mordo, we didn't even talk about him.
I figured we were going to talk about Mordo when we talk about the post-credit scenes.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's kind of what I figured.
Yeah, and I feel like we just didn't get into him. You know, and he's Chiwetel Ejiofor he's a great actor, but I feel like that character was kind of lackluster. It was very wooden. You know, I feel like there were some great parts where it felt like it was comedy, but it was also a weird, like, genre-bending type of movie, and none of it really meshed. Like, the action sequences that are visually spectacle, but then you have a comedic one. Some parts just didn't mesh right to me.
What was up with him having a memory of movies or of songs and artists and when they were released? Was that just to flex his ability of having a photographic memory?
Yeah, that's all that was.
That's all that was.
Yeah.
It's just such a weird character choice that I'm like, I thought there was going to be a payoff to that kind of ongoing thing, and there wasn't.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so I can't give it the 4 that you guys did. The visual aspects are amazing. If it didn't have that, I'd be down at a 2. I'm looking at a 3 from me.
Okay. Fair enough.
There was 2 post-credit scenes in this movie.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
There was the second one's very memorable.
The first one is Thor. Them discussing trying to find Odin's son.
Yeah.
Or Odin, I'm sorry. And yeah, basically he can't find him. He's got to go to Doctor Strange. And he's trying to drink some tea, and he's like, yeah, I don't drink tea. And then he has his fantastic refilling beer mug, which I think is an amazing prop.
I would love that prop in real life.
Please
send one to me.
If you could just keep on refilling this right here, long live Beer Works, please. Thank you.
Yes, please show me this. That would be the only magic I would learn. It's just
my God.
If anything, it's a cool bar trick just to do for people. The bartenders are going to hate me because I'm just going to be like, you don't have to buy another beer. Boom.
Yeah, you wouldn't hang out at my bar ever.
Yeah, you'd be like, you're the worst. Like, we're losing so much money because of you.
You got to leave big tips at that point.
Yeah, that's true.
Then if that's the case, then you can hang out all the time because I don't have to work and also I get money. That's great.
I just make bets with people. I'd be like, if I show you the most amazing fucking thing you've ever seen, you're gonna leave $100 tip right now.
Look, you're better than
deal.
You're better than Jesus at that point. He turned water into wine. I'm turning beer out of nothing.
Yeah, 100%. Doctor Strange, better than Jesus? I don't know. Hot take right now. BFC'S.
The second post-credit scene was Mordo approaching Jonathan Pangborn.
Yeah.
Out of nowhere. And he's just like, fucking Jonathan Pangborn's just fixing something. That's it. And he picks up a wrench. And he's hanging in there for a second. And Mordo decides that the reason why there are so many issues within the mystical world and the way their structure works is that there are too many sorcerers,
wizards. And then he goes and he blows up Hogwarts.
You're a wizard, Pangborn.
I hope that this is not one of the moments where there is no payoff in this moment. Because I don't know if he's going to show up in Multiverse of Madness. Doesn't look like it, but he has to. He has to.
There's got to be a payoff there.
He's been casted.
He
has? Yeah, he is casted, and that was already announced. The casting was announced, and he's definitely in it.
Is he also being replaced by Don Cheadle?
No. Weirdly enough.
It's Terrence Howard.
Terrence Howard. Because Marvel thinks that there's 3 black guys in all of Hollywood.
Well, 4. You got to include Anthony Mackie.
Yes. Then they just think that they can just cycle through those same 4 guys. So they're not aware. Yeah. Kevin Feige is going to watch a Spike Lee movie this weekend and be like, holy shit. Oh, speaking of that, I got a Boys in the Hood shirt
there
on right
now. Lawrence Fishburne was in Event Horizon?
Oh my God, I have to. Oh, I've already casted him. Yeah, that's definitely going to get paid off. I mean, them setting him up to be this hopefully
kind of yin to Doctor Strange's yang.
Yeah, hopefully it doesn't fall into my worst comic trope, which is the bad guy is the same thing as the good guy, just bad. which unfortunately the Marvel has fallen into that a few times, even in some of my favorite movies.
Mm-hmm.
Black Panther. But yeah, those are the worst parts of those films. So hopefully it doesn't do that.
Yeah.
Maybe we'll get a weird payoff too with Pangborn. Maybe Brat's gonna come back, and I don't know. Doctor Strange is gonna help him regain his connection to the multiverse, and
that'd be dope.
Yeah. Can we get the Bratverse going on here?
Yeah.
We got the Edgar Wright verse in the last one, so we need we'll start the petition for the Bratverse going on.
Let's do this. Yeah, guys. Any last thoughts on this?
I think I've said my piece.
Yeah.
I also think I've said my piece.
Yeah, I think we've all said a lot of stuff about this movie. That I honestly.
These are my final words.
Yep. What is it? Is it these three fingers?
I'm going evil. I'm making the mirror sphere.
Oh, you're doing this thing?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're all just conjuring magic here. If you're listening and not hanging out.
If you're listening on Spotify.
We all just ate cookies, and they were really delicious. We're the only ones that can see this. All right. All right, guys. Well, Jordan, anything to plug, man?
No, still making sauces. Haven't released it just yet. I expected a little bit more time before you guys invited me back, although I am very happy you invited me back.
Yes, absolutely.
If you want to follow me on Instagram, you can now follow me at J_Digglesworth. Expect a lot of pictures of my dogs and beer.
Two things I love in life, dogs and beer, so that's awesome. CJ, anything to plug, man?
Just get at me on Instagram at Colin Ferguson. We're just gonna go with that one this week. You can find all the links there and the Blanket Fort Chronicle stuff. So I don't know, send me a message, say hello. That's it.
Awesome. Yeah, and don't forget to check out his podcast, Mise Plastered, on anywhere you can find podcasts, right?
Yeah, anywhere you can find them. Yeah. My favorite episode's Coyote Fugly.
I don't know if I think I've watched or listened to that one.
That's a fun one.
Okay. I think I might be an episode or two behind. Maybe just one episode. So,
cool.
Yeah, definitely check him out on there. If you want to reach me, you can find me at The Real Jeff Wellman on Instagram. You can find anything from us at Blanket Fort Chronicles, except for on Twitter, which is Blanket Fort Pros. And I promise you, we will get more into our Twitter very, very soon. I've made that my goal because we just kind of abandoned it. I actually run social media as a full-time job that I do, and I don't touch Twitter on my full-time job either because Twitter is a very
it's a cesspool.
Place. Yes,
it's a cesspool.
It is, but yeah, you could reach us on there. I'll make sure to check those just to see if there's any messages. And then you can find us anywhere you listen to podcasts at Blanket Fort Chronicles. We have a great show on there called Have You Played? We have an upcoming episode of it that will be out here in the next couple weeks where Lance and I are going to break down the game Dead Space. So, yeah, very excited. It was a very good episode, so I'm excited for you all to hear that. And then you can find us right here on twitch.tv/Blanket Fort Chronicles every Tuesday, where we will continue to break down the MCU. You. And next week, we are talking about Spider-Man Homecoming.
Ooh.
Yeah. Breaking into the Sonyverse.
Yeah, we're going to have to break into the Sonyverse. We might have to pay for this one if you don't already own it.
Yep. Yeah, I have to go buy it. Or I have to buy it digitally. I don't own
Yeah, I'm going to rent it. So, I already know that.
Yeah, they haven't came to Netflix yet. So,
I know we're closing out here, but are you guys actually going to start including Venom and Mobius, right? Morbius, sorry.
I don't know yet. I mean, they are technically part of the MCU.
Yeah.
But
I
don't know.
I feel like we can always circle back on those.
Those will probably be a circle back type of thing.
The main MCU and the connecting things that are already existing, we're going to go a different route. And I'm not going to announce that yet, but I'm pretty excited for the route that we're going to go on.
Oh, yes.
Very cool.
Yes, our next route's going to be amazing, so I can't wait. All right. Well, love you guys. Great discussion, and
love you too.
Talk to you guys later.
Love you.
All
Have a good night, guys.
You too.
Later, guys.
Bye.